This video is going to show you all the combos for all the strategists within Marvel Rivals to show you which one kills the absolute fastest. So we're starting off with Adam Warlock first, and we're going to go through his Quantum Magic base attack. As you can see, we've got the timer at the bottom, and we're just basically going through the base attack by itself. Then what we test is the critical hits for the primary fire as well, if you land only critical hits. And we're testing on Groot, by the way, because he's one of the highest health or highest HP characters in the game, so you can get a feel for how long it's going to take you to kill these. Then we've got the Cosmic Cluster, and again we're trying to fire this as quickly as we possibly can at full charge, and we're testing that one out as well. Then we've done a one Cosmic Cluster attack, then following up by Quantum Magic, just to see how that would actually affect his time to kill, as you can see at the bottom. Then we've got the Cosmic Cluster and the Quantum Magic spam attack, which is basically trying to spam them in between each other. And then we also do this including critical hits as well, but the Cosmic Cluster doesn't actually deal any critical damage. Rounding this up, we then have the numbers right here in terms of how quick they actually kill Groot. So as you can see here, the fastest killing is if you land critical hits, and if you spam with critical hits, you do get a quicker time to kill, and you also get a faster time to kill just spamming the attacks in between each other as well. So as you can see here, that combo does definitely work in reducing how long it takes you to kill a high HP character. Rocket is next, and as you can see here, we've got Bombard mode. This is the base attack, and then also he does have critical damage as well. So there's nothing else to combo in here with Rocket. So as you can see here, here are the numbers. Critical hits basically reduce your time by half. So if you're landing some headshots in there, you're definitely going to get a way quicker time to kill, even on high HP characters. And as you can see, kills super quick, especially for a strategist hero. Then we've got Mantis, and Mantis is kind of one of those DPS style characters, but as you can see here, her life energy base blast does kill pretty quick. Then we've got the critical hits added in there as well, as you can see, does pretty quick. Then we've done the natural anger with the base attack, and then we do natural anger with the critical hits as well. Now when it comes to her base damage in general, she actually outputs some serious damage without having to land any critical hits. If you do land critical hits, again, it almost halves the amount of time it takes to kill an opponent. On top of that, I do want to mention that the natural anger doesn't really seem to change all that much. It does help a little bit in terms of how fast you can kill, but it's not significant enough in my opinion. Next up, we've got Loki, and as you can see here, we've got his Mystic Missile base attack, which there's nothing to really combo in to this one here at all. And as you can see, it's taken quite a while to kill Groot. So even though this is spell field damage, the direct impact is not really dealing too much damage here. And as you can see, it takes a lot of reloads as well. Then when we use the doppelgangers, we get a much faster time to kill. As you can see here, it's way quicker. And getting on into the actual numbers now, as you can see, using the doppelgangers is probably the only way to get some decent damage in there and to get some serious time to kill, especially on those high HP heroes as well. But 20 seconds on his base damage attack, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. I think that was way too long. Next, we've got Luna Snow. We've got a couple of different combos here for this one, but starting off, we've got our base attack, which is light and dark ice, and no critical hits here. As you can see, we get a respectable time to kill. And in the critical hits, we get much faster times here as well. Then we're using the ice darts, then the light and dark ice. So just if you think that this is going to help you deal a bit more damage, then it really kind of doesn't. Then we've got the critical hits with the ice darts as well. So after we use the ice darts, we start to use headshots. And as you can see, we're getting a bit quicker there. Then we're using Absolute Zero, which is the freeze ball. And then we're using the base attack. Then we use the freeze ball with critical hits, which is headshots essentially, and as you can see here, it doesn't change too much. Then we've got Absolute Zero plus the ice darts plus the light and dark ice, which is the base attack, and then we do it once more with critical hits as well, just to make sure that we've covered absolutely everything when it comes to combinations. Getting on into the actual numbers now, as you can see here, there's loads of numbers here, but the ones I want you to focus on the most is the critical hits, the base damage, and that is pretty much it. The combos are there, but they're not really going to grant any more value than what you actually get with the actual abilities themselves. So the extra HP bonuses and healing your teammates, for example, you should use it more for that than dealing extra damage. Getting on into Cloak and Dagger now, and as you can see, we're just using Dagger first of all, just to see how long it takes to kill with just Dagger by herself. And as you can see, it's taken a very long time with quite a few reloads in there as well. So we're definitely taking a while to get grouped down to 0 HP. And obviously you shouldn't really be using dagger, let's be honest, but this is just how long it's going to take you, even if you land every single hit, which is what we're doing here. Then we switch on into cloak and you get basically half the amount of time to kill, so that is definitely much better. So as you can see here, we're doing way better with cloak, and obviously this is a lock-on effect. Then we use his cape and then we use his damage attack as well, just to see kind of that gives you any combo in terms of a good initial burst in damage. Then we switch it between cloak and dagger to see if this helps by any means whatsoever. So as dagger needs a reload, we switch straight into cloak, start dealing damage straight away, and then we switch back into dagger for a few seconds again until she needs to reload, and then back into cloak again, and just to kind of cover everything. Getting into the actual numbers now, Light Force Dagger, which is basically dagger's attack, takes almost 30 seconds to kill Groot, which is ridiculously long. Dark Force Cloak basically a thirds that, which is great. So as you can see here, we're basically taking 1/3 of the time, which is really good. Then we use Terror Cape, which basically drops it down by another second, which is decent to be fair, especially for a non-DPS character. And then switching between the two doesn't really help either, to be honest. So this basically shows that you want to be cloak 90% of the time when you try to deal damage. Next up, we've got the Invisible Woman, and we're using the Orb Projection, which is our primary attack. And as you can see here, it does take a little while to deal damage to enemy players here. Now, it's not quite as long as Dagger, but it is taking a decent amount of time here. Then we use the Psionic Vortex, so that's dealing some damage along with the Orb Projection as well. Then we finish it off with the Orb Projection, because that's likely what you're going to be doing inside the game anyway. And then we use the Force Physics plus the Orb Projection as well, because Force Physics does deal some damage. And then we obviously finish Groot off with Orb Projection at the end. And then what we do is use all three to see how much damage we can deal in a good burst attack. And this one is a bit of a strange one, which we'll get on into the numbers in just a second. But as you can see, we've used all three abilities. Getting into the numbers now, as you can see, Orb Projection takes 12.55 seconds. Psionic Vortex plus Orb Projection does kill a little bit quicker, and then also Force Physics does kill a little bit quicker as well. Using all three does give you a weird time, which I don't know why it takes slightly longer. I don't know if it's just a miscalculation or what. Last but not least, we've got Jeff the Shark, and as you can see here, he's only got one attack, so this is what we're testing. And to be fair, quite surprisingly, he actually does a really decent job with what he does have. So he's actually not bad whatsoever. So as you can see here, his attack's Aqua Burst, and it takes 9.22 seconds, which, to be fair, as you can see, compared to some of the other healers in this game, is not terrible numbers that he's outputting here. And doing a quick comparison across all the strategists. So as you can see here, Adam Warlock's Cosmic Cluster and Quantum Magic spammed together gives you a decent time to kill at 8.37 seconds, which for Groot is pretty solid. Then we're using the Quantum Magic with just critical hits, which is a primary attack, and you get such a fast time to kill there, which is ridiculously fast. Now, you're not always going to land 100% headshots, obviously, that's why I wanted to put in the other attack there. Bombard mode from Rocket is one of the easiest things to use, and not only that, is one of the fastest killing on this list in terms of not having to land critical hits. Now, when you do land critical hits, again, it's one of the fastest killing things here on this list. So basically, Rocket is probably the most DPS strategist in this game, which you probably already knew anyway. Then we've got Mantis, who does actually kill faster than Adam Warlock's spam attack, plus you don't need to spam the two attacks together because she just basically does that as base damage. I do think when you give the damage buff, it's not really necessary, and the thing is, you're not going to be having the damage buff like constantly anyway, so you might as well use your leaves for healing up teammates or whatever it is, because you're not getting that much of a buff, in my opinion, to your damage. When it comes to Loki, you literally have to have doppelgangers, otherwise you're dealing zero damage whatsoever. It's kind of pointless if you're not. You might as well just be healing teammates for the most part, because that is your job up until you do have doppelgangers. Luna Snow, basically just use her base attack and try and get some critical hits in the mix there. That is probably the best thing to do with Luna Snow. You don't need to do any combos unless you're using it for specific reasons, like you're getting dived or you're trying to heal your team or whatever it is. Use the abilities for what they're made for and not to deal damage with. Then you've got Cloak and Dagger, and again, you just want to basically be in Cloak form to deal damage, essentially. Then you want to be in Dagger form to heal, as you kind of already expected, but the numbers are pretty significant, so just make sure you are Cloak when you are trying to deal damage. Then we've got the Invisible Woman. You want to pair that Psionic Vortex with Orb Projection. That's going to give you the fastest possible kills. And then lastly, at Jeff the Shark, as you can see, he's sitting at 9.22 seconds, which is not the quickest on this list, but considering it's his only damage output, he's definitely not the slowest if you compare him to like Loki's single attack. So this video was meant to cover combos mainly, and that is what we're going to do for also DPS and Vanguard heroes, so please subscribe for that. But if you also want to reinforce these values that you've just seen here today, then we've also made a video previously on the channel basically using the actual numbers from the website to reinforce what we've just found out by manual testing today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.